If you've ever driven through the Garden State, you know the drill. You pull up to a gas station, roll down your window, and someone else does all the work. It's a uniquely New Jersey experience. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why is New Jersey literally the only state in America where you are not allowed to pump your own gas? Well, it's a 75-year-old story, and it's a wild one.
You know, for the longest time, New Jersey wasn't this total outlier. It actually had a partner in crime all the way across the country, Oregon. For decades, these two states formed this strange bi-coastal club where full service wasn't just an option, it was the law.
But then, just recently, that all changed. In the summer of 2023, Oregon decided to hang it up. The governor signed a new law ending their 72-year-old ban and letting drivers finally grab the nozzle for themselves. The two-state club was officially disbanded.
And just like that, New Jersey was all alone, the last one standing. Oregon's move suddenly threw this huge spotlight on the Garden State and its very peculiar, very old law, making everyone ask, why?
So that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? In a country that is all about do-it-yourself, why is New Jersey holding on so tight? Well, to get to the bottom of it, we have to look at the official story, and then we have to look at the real story. Okay, so first, let's start with the government's official line. This isn't just some random tradition. It's formally called the Retail Gasoline Dispensing Safety Act. And right there in the name, they're telling you this is all about one thing, keeping people safe. And what's really fascinating here is that the state didn't just wave its hands and say, it's for safety. Nope, they wrote their reasons directly into the law. These aren't just talking points. This is the formal legal foundation for the entire ban, right there in black and white. And just look at the case they built. The law claims that regular folks like you and me, well, we're untrained and could start fires. It talks about protecting people, especially pregnant women, from toxic fumes. It even says full service reduces crime and slip and fall injuries at the pump. I mean, on paper, it sounds pretty convincing, right? Like they've thought of everything.
Yeah, about that. The official story is, let's just say, not the whole story. The real reason this law exists has almost nothing to do with safety. It's a classic tale of bitter competition, angry business owners, and a price war that got really, really ugly.
It all started back in 1948 with one guy, Irving Reingold. He opened up this massive gas station in Hackensack and tried a brand new, radical idea. Let people pump their own gas. By cutting out the cost of the attendant, he could slash his prices from 22 cents a gallon, which was the going rate, down to less than 19 cents. Now, as you can imagine, drivers went wild for it. His station was a massive hit, but his competitors, they were furious. They were losing all their customers. So first, they tried some, let's call it, Sopranos-style persuasion. There are actual reports that Reingold's station was shot at. And when that didn't work, they took their fight to the state capitol. And this is the absolute core of the story. This law was not the result of some public safety campaign. It was pure, successful lobbying. A group of rival station owners basically convinced lawmakers to make their competition illegal. They just dressed it up in the language of public safety to protect their own bottom line. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Over the next 75 years, a law that was born out of a business dispute somehow transformed. It became this beloved, quirky part of New Jersey's identity. It stopped being about profits and started being about pride. And this phrase says it all. You see it everywhere in the state, on bumper stickers, on t-shirts. What started as a legal mandate became a cultural slogan. It's a symbol of being different, a little piece of what makes New Jersey, well, New Jersey. And this isn't just a feeling. The numbers show it. Polling reveals this really interesting divide between men and women. A clear majority of women, 64%, think the ban is a good thing. For a lot of them, the convenience and the sense of safety you get from staying in your car, especially at night or in bad weather, is a huge plus. Men, though, are pretty much split down the middle. But it's not just a Jersey girls thing. Not at all. When you ask all residents, the support for the law is just massive. A Rutgers poll found that nearly 3 out of every 4 people in New Jersey prefer having their gas pumped for them. At the end of the day, most people just like it the way it is.
Now, for a really long time, this was an easy thing to love. Why? Because New Jersey had some of the lowest gas taxes in the entire country. So you got this convenient, full-service luxury, but you were still paying less than your neighbors in New York or Pennsylvania who had to do it themselves. It was a perk that didn't seem to cost you anything. But things have changed. That sweet economic deal is gone. After a huge gas tax hike a few years ago, combined with a bunch of new pressures, the state is now facing a real problem.
And it's forcing a serious debate about this old law for the first time in a very, very long time.
The number one problem right now? A massive labor shortage. Gas station owners simply cannot find enough people to work the pumps, and that means they have to close lanes, which leads to long lines and frustrated drivers. That whole convenience argument starts to fall apart when you're stuck waiting 15 minutes for a fill-up.
So even with these problems, changing the law is seen as political suicide. The state's governor, Phil Murphy, called it the third rail of New Jersey politics. Touch it and you're dead. The public support for the ban is still so strong that politicians are terrified to be the ones to take it away.
So, the latest attempt to fix this is a bill with a very friendly name, the Motorist Fueling Choice and Convenience Act. It's basically a compromise. It would let stations offer self-service, probably for a few cents cheaper, but would still require them to have full-service pumps available. But the opposition is huge, arguing it could kill over 17,000 jobs and take away a convenience that people love.
And this number right here really gets to the heart of it. While most people don't want to get rid of full service completely, a slim majority, 54%, say they would be okay with adding a self-service option, but only if full service is still guaranteed. They don't want a replacement, they want a choice.
Which brings us back to the big question. We have a law that started as a backroom deal to fix prices, evolved into a beloved symbol of state pride, and is now crashing into modern economic reality. Between a labor crisis and a public that wants more options but doesn't want to give anything up, has New Jersey's 75-year-old tradition finally run out of gas?